2 years after a certain laconic Scotsman in his blue Subaru Impreza crashed onto our consoles for the first time, Codemasters returned to cement its dynasty. This sequel, Colin McRae Rally 2.0, wasn't just an update, it was an overhaul. A game which, despite lacking the official World Rally Championship license, is widely seen as one of the best rally games ever created. Arguably, the one that cemented Codemasters as the leading developer of racing titles. The original Colin McRae Rally was published, developed and released by the then Southern-based studio in 1998, and its successor saw Codemasters double down on realism, offering 8 rally environments, a bump in rally car numbers, with 16 distinct models including the Ford Escort Mark I found on the PC version, and a pleasingly weighty handling model influenced by McRae's feedback. Perhaps acknowledging the step up in difficulty, Codemasters implemented a separate arcade mode, featuring closed-circuit racing against up to 5 AI-controlled opponents, and more forgiving handling. This game would push the hardware limits of the original PlayStation while improving upon its predecessor's gameplay in almost every area. However, because of the lack of WRC license, which was nabbed by Sony for 2001's imaginatively titled World Rally Championship, 2.0 features only 2 real-world drivers, Colin McRae and his former Subaru teammate, Kenneth Eriksson. Sure, CMR had a diverse range of surfaces, stages and cars, but 2.0 built on this by adding even more. Environment design had also improved, with each of the game's 90 stages featuring longer draw distances, more verticality, and better set dressing. Some rallies had as many as 11 tests, including super special stages, with snow, gravel and asphalt surfaces, simulated weather and night stages. There were more cars, and despite the lack of official driver names, all of the manufacturers from the 1999 and 2000 WRC seasons were present, barring Skoda and Hyundai, replete with official liveries. There were a few legendary rally vehicles sprinkled in there for good measure too, including the Lancia Delta Integrale, the Ford Sierra RS Cosworth, represented in Jimmy McRae's British Championship winning Gemini livery, and the MG Metro 6R4, among many others. For rally aficionados, there was also the Ford Racing Puma 4-wheel drive, a one-off technical exercise that used parts from the redundant Escort WRC car. This was something of a coup at the time, as M Sport had taken control of Ford's WRC program in 1997 from its own Ford Motorsport division. The Puma 4-wheel drive was perhaps a forlorn attempt by Borum to wrest the contract from Malcolm Wilson's squad, which ultimately proved unsuccessful. To see it in 2.0 underlines Codemasters' rally fanaticism. Although much of 2.0's new content was received warmly, there were some stark omissions. The original game's Rally School mode had been jettisoned, for example, so players could no longer be berated by a dour Scotsman for driving poorly. Sad. Also, despite the car count rising in 2.0, some of the original game's roster had disappeared, including the popular Renault Megane, Volkswagen Golf, Skoda Felicia, and Seat Ibiza kit cars. Gone too were the Audi Sport Quattro S1 and the Toyota Celica GT4, which, ironically, was only available via a cheat code. Art imitating life, eh? Having period-correct WRC cars and liveries did cushion the blow, however, although some versions of the game replaced the 555 Subaru livery with Toshi Arai's more generic paint scheme, owing to cigarette sponsorship rules. Do let us know your favourite WRC car of this golden era in the comments section below. And if you're enjoying this particular nostalgia trip, why not subscribe to the Traxion channel so that you don't miss videos like these in future. If you enjoy watching sim racing content on YouTube or just general gaming videos, perhaps you want to have a go at creating some for yourself. This is where Elgato steps in. It has an incredible range of streaming and video production products like capture cards, webcams, microphones, cam links, green screens, anything you can think of that's going to help you with your video production and streaming, Elgato probably has a product. Just make sure you check out the affiliate link down in the description below. By doing so, you'll be able to buy those products, and also Traxion will get a little bit of assistance and support from that as well. It has to be said, Colin McRae Rally 2.0's secret sauce was its handling. In 2000, you'd be hard pushed to find a better feeling racing game. There was real weight to its physics, with your car ducking and diving under braking, providing a proper sense of inertia. Copying McRae's renowned flamboyance in-game was a tangible goal. From the epic jumps of Finland to the slick snowdrifts of Sweden, every stage was a chance to emulate the Scots' if in doubt, flat out mantra. The weightiness would have helped PSX players in particular, given that a significant portion had yet to upgrade to analog thumbsticks in 2000. The handling made negotiating the game's varied stages a joy, with the difficulty pitched just right in my opinion. Seasoned rally gamers could breeze through novice and intermediate difficulties, with expert mode proving tough enough to punish mistakes properly. Suspension was simulated independently, something Richard Burns' Rally would nail 4 years later, while the realism was ramped up thanks to mid-rally repairs. This mimicked real-world rally servicing rules by giving players 60 minutes to repair all the scenery-based damage they'd caused. Normally it was a lot. Engine damage took longer to fix than bodywork, for example, so there was an element of strategy to proceedings. Who needs a gearbox anyway? The engine sounds have aged a bit across 2.0's cars, as you'd expect, but pops, bangs and flames caused by anti-lag and ignition cuts are sublimely done, especially considering the game's age. And speaking of bangs, what about that theme tune by Jonathan Colling? Spot on. Spot on. Although Derek Ringer had since departed McRae's passenger seat, Welsh wizard Nicky Grist was on hand to deliver pace notes in the Scotsman's favoured gear-based nomenclature. 5 right was a right-hander to be taken in 5th gear, for instance. Arcade mode, on the other hand, was as convincing as Gwyndaf Evans' comb-over. Your car feels a little more urgent and chuckable in these circuit-style races, but I feel like the courses should have been more than just repurposed rally stages. A proper rallycross-style makeover would have made this so much better, but you have to wonder if the developer had time to fully flesh this mode out. As a result, arcade mode feels like an ephemeral addition and perhaps a missed opportunity, especially given the circuit racing expertise Codemasters showed in its Toka franchise, bearing in mind Toka World Touring Cars, also known as Jarrett and Labonte stock car racing in North America, was also released in 2000. Crucially though, the car physics were still fun, and potentially even better when battling with a friend in split screen. What would a 20-plus-year-old Codemasters racing game be without a range of insane cheats to play with? Seen in its Toka series and CMR, Codemasters games had a series of hilarious and sometimes useful cheats to mess around with. Players could enter their driver name as Easy Roller on PSX and treat their classic Mini to some monster truck wheels. Rubber trees unlocked over-the-top collision effects, sending your car pinging all over the landscape after a crash. Incidentally, in 1992, McRae used this cheat to great effect in Finland. However, most players' favourite was Great Balls Of, which launched fireballs from your car with catastrophic consequences for your arcade mode opponents. Thank goodness GG Galley never had access to this. The game could also be enjoyed with several friends, with the career mode playable by up to 4 people. Thanks to the point-to-point nature of Rally, players could run each stage consecutively, with split-screen play also possible for you and a friend. Online play, of sorts, arrived with the PC version, with up to 8 players able to compete via LAN, but Challenge Mode also offered a knockout-style competition for 8 players locally. All you'd need was 7 hardcore Rally fans to play with, which, to be fair, was probably easier to find in 2000 than it would be nowadays. For many, 2.0 represented the zenith of both the Colin McRae and Dirt series of games, and this was reflected in its commercial performance, outselling its predecessor 2-1 at launch. Despite a successful PC release, Codemasters decided not to port it to the Dreamcast after some initial development, which was a blow to many, given the extra horsepower of Sega's machine. However, it's likely the studio had reservations about the console's popularity, rightly so as it turned out. A remastered version of the game did come out for mobile devices across 2013 and 14, oddly titled Colin McRae Rally, but it omitted a swathe of content despite retaining much of the original's feel. Colin McRae Rally 3 largely followed in the footsteps of 2.0 as the series made its PlayStation 2 and Xbox debut, but further iterations felt a little bit less inventive, losing some of the sparkle that made the originals special. It's no surprise then that Codemasters opted to slap the 2.0 moniker on Dirt Rally's follow-up in 2019, which again revitalised the rally genre with an approachable and realistic take on rally, and this time with a properly arcadey rallycross mode. It even had the Colin McRae Flat Out Pack DLC, including some of the Scotsman's iconic rally machines, and a selection of stages from his homeland. Codemasters' last rally title, EA Sports WRC, was released in 2023, and it's likely to be the studio's final foray into the genre, with parent company EA instigating layoffs and putting a stop to the studio's off-road excursions, a frankly egregious turn of events given the company's billion-dollar profits. If you want to hear more about that whole debacle, check out our full video on the downfall of Codemasters via the link in the description. Ignoring nostalgia, Colin McRae Rally 2.0 remains a high point for rally video games, featuring weighty handling, realistic visuals, and superb attention to detail. Sadly, just like the game's genius cover star, we may never see its like again.